Okay, next up is
No.
conferences and hackathons.
Woo! Let's get excited.
This is a very, very polarizing topic for all of us. We all have differing opinions, and you are about to sit through them. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've unlocked the next level.
Retardedness. I mean, there's a challenge.
You can't say
Right.
either one of those. This is American television.
Yeah. This is not television.
Cut it up.
This is why we
But
have
hold
no
on. The
sponsors.
internet is not American.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
It's for everyone.
No, but were there any good conferences this week? It was South by.
Well, South
What's
by
South
is
by?
now.
South by Southwest.
Okay,
It's North by Northwest would be really
wait,
cool.
let's start out. Launch happened this week.
Launch
and
happened,
that is,
Unfortunately, it did. Yeah.
who throws
Jason
launch?
Kalinakis.
Jason Galifianakis.
Jason Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yep. So he does Between Two Ferns.
Between
Between two VCs.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably
So,
know his brother, actually.
Whatever. He used to do Tech Crunch 50.
Okay.
So he's done a lot of conferences.
He did do that. Yeah.
Did he? What's his background? Did he do?
Nothing. He did nothing.
He just throws events.
He did a little bit more than I did.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Okay, harsh, but yeah.
Very negative atmosphere right now.
I mean, he
Well, I don't know, so I'm learning.
Yeah, I
he
don't know
built
the
a
guy.
personality for himself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And he definitely brought up people for this conference, but he also brought up 5,000 people, of which I think 95% of them did not pay to go to the conference.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think there is.
I
Does
don't
that
think there's
matter?
anything wrong with that either, but yeah.
I do have a problem with conferences that are startup focused, that make you pay $3,000 to go to them.
Well,
think
I mean, why
ridiculous. Like-
pretend that you have to pay for them now?
Well,
You know, 'cause
I
they're-
don't know.
Well, because it's like exclusivity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or
I
people
mean, fabricated or.
Well, you want people that are actually going there want to be there, and that
Yeah.
they're going to get something value out of it.
Well,
And if
and
something
yeah.
is free, it has literally no value.
Mm.
Right?
Well, and the people
Because
who got
they're
it
giving
for
it
free
away.
had to have at least some form of connection.
Yeah.
If you were in Idaho and decided you wanted to go to launch and you had nothing to do with the tech scene, sorry Idaho.
I was
you
an
had-
Wow.
yeah, also Idaho. But yeah, if you if you wanted to come and had nothing to do with tech, then you had to pay, and I think that's fine.
That's
you know,
true.
and
But
I
that's
got
like a
offered-
tax on poor people, though.
It's not a tax on poor people; it's a tax on people unconnected to the industry,
like with
Right.
the cars.
right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you.
So they feed on newbies.
Yeah, well, so,
Basically.
but I mean, not necessarily. It just sets a little barrier to it. In fact, it's quite inclusive. It basically says anyone's allowed to come.
Who
It's
lives
not-
in San Francisco?
No, because you can come if you're happy to pay.
Mhm.
You can live anywhere, and if you're happy
But
to
if
pay.
you live here and you're in the network, then you
Yeah.
get to come for free.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think there's any problem with that because it says that it's basically saying, okay, we want a certain caliber of person at our conference, and you're gonna say anyone's allowed to come, but if
Yeah.
you don't have any sort of connection, well then sorry, you have to pay. I don't see any problem with that.
No, I don't see any problem with that either. But I
So-
also think that
So let's get to launch.
What?
Who went to launch?
Yeah,
we did.
we did.
You went to launch.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a free ticket.
How?
I got 3 free tickets.
I
Yeah.
got 3
Yeah.
free tickets.
Yeah,
Oh,
free
yeah.
trinkets.
Free tickets.
Trinkets? Are they giving out trinkets then?
Yeah.
Are they free?
Shiny
I
bubbles.
love you. Oh, fuckface.
So how was it?
We're married.
What was your experience?
Awful. No, I'm just kidding. It was fine. I watched some people pitch awkwardly on stage, and that was like cringe-worthy.
Were they new to pitching?
No, they weren't. There was some people that were
Some were
very
new.
experienced,
Some were experienced,
entrepreneurs.
definitely. Yeah.
But they were all cringeworthy?
The majority
no,
were.
not all, yeah,
I mean-
most of them were.
Okay.
Did any projects stand out? So
Well, True
what happened
Teams
with
did.
launch was had a hackathon before
Right.
the conference, and what hackathons are, they are programmers, designers, business people who get together and try to create an idea and build it within a weekend or a couple of days, and they're fed food and kind of given alcohol, whatever helps fuel their creativity.
Some sort of
And-
space and environment where people are all working,
Right, and so they come
collaborating.
together as a group, they find partners, and at the end of it, people pick kind of the best product or most innovative product.
Yeah.
And at launch, what they did was they fed the hackathon finalists into launch to pitch their project that they built, right? Is that correct?
Oh
Yeah.
no, it was separate. It was a separate thing.
No, it's totally separate.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a
was
separate
totally
thing, but
separate.
they did give launch hackathon winners an opportunity to pitch. It was just one of the segments on the. on the
Okay.
first
They
day.
got
Wow.
their own
Yeah.
session.
Okay, interesting.
Wow. Okay.
So it was very different. And then, I mean,
Well-
we were registered as hackathoners, right?
Mhm.
But we didn't actually hackathon. We just went to a conference.
Well, no,
Sorry,
I think
I
Jason.
think I heard that.
I went to
And
hackathon.
he
and
went to the first day.
How was it? How was the hackathon?
Well, so I think the hackathon had some, I mean, some really bad things that I didn't like, and then some things I really did like.
How big was this hackathon?
It's the biggest one I've ever been to.
Okay, so what's your average hackathon size?
I mean, I've only been to, I'll say 3,
Okay, sure.
and they're usually around 100 people or whatever. And this was there were apparently 200 and something teams.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was.
Which,
I couldn't
I mean-
find a seat. I literally walked in there and I could not find a seat with
Mind you,
power.
there's probably
And the-
like a 50% attrition, right, for those teams.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised too. There was so many
The
fucking
prizes
people
were
there.
big. It was a $75,000 grand prize, right?
Well, so
Cash?
Investment.
Oh, investment.
but there were cash prizes too. But this is I think one of the two things that Launch did wrong with their hackathon was the prizes were very big and they were pre-announced and a lot of them revolved around investment and whatever. So you had then people like competing, heavily and in secrecy and whatever for money instead
Yeah.
of doing it for the spirit of the hackathon.
And they knew what the prizes were in advance.
Yeah.
Well, I think that might have been part of what fueled this problem, right?
So a lot of that was probably to bring people to the hackathon, right? Like a lot of
Yeah, but I
classic
think it also
hackathons-
worked against them in a way.
I mean, probably, but a lot of classic hackathons are about like, let's just get a bunch of people together who all want to be doing this,
So
and make something because it's fun to do that, right?
well, yeah. So this is the other thing that I think was the problem. There was they made you pre-register a team,
Yeah.
right? So there
On
was,
the flip side, music hackathon day, what is it? The music hack day.
music hack day. Yeah.
That was
What was that?
It was a couple weeks before, and like Spotify and RDO and SoundCloud, like these companies that are involved in music tech are all out there, and it's actually quite a pleasant experience. It's only one day. I haven't gone, but our friend went. He had a great time. Not to mention he worked throughout the night and made something that was pretty cool and won a prize. But I mean, having the companies there that are involved in that tech in there that are there being like, oh yeah, but don't even care if they use your tech. Like our friend won for something he didn't use the tech for, then of one of the other companies. In fact, the prize was given to him by a different company.
because they thought it was cool.
They just thought it was cool
Oh,
and
wow.
it didn't
That's
involve their
cool.
tech at all.
That's
Then
really
again,
cool.
there were. I will say, like, I mean, you didn't come to the launch hackathon, so you
Yeah.
don't have
That's
a
very
comparison.
egalitarian.
Nah, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, there were companies sponsoring the hackathon that I think did it perfectly. Like, they were there saying, hey, we have free accounts for anyone who wants to use our stuff.
Yeah.
They were giving out prizes depending on, like, the best use of their technology, but it wasn't specifically that. That, to me, felt much more like the spirit of the hackathon
Did
than...
they have like a developer evangelist over there with like,
Yep.
like if you had questions?
Yep,
Oh, that's
absolutely.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
really
why
cool.
you
so
hire
actually-
developer evangelists, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where they should be.
Well, yeah. So James from Firebase was there, and
Oh.
he was there on the ground, like helping people out with stuff. I thought that was really good. I think that's a really good way.
I'd like to talk about South by as the other big tech conference happening right now. Right now, right?
right now.
I think it's wrapping up, right?
It's going on.
Wait,
Wait.
sorry, the South by Tech is on right now
Oh,
over the
yeah,
weekend.
you're right,
The music
yeah.
starts on.
So jumping
Monday,
forward,
Tuesday.
wrapping up right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tech one, I've been a couple of times, and each time I go,
Oh, you should down that.
what?
It's way
The
too
head.
high.
The heads.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
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 Look at our beautiful heads.
Do you want to start that over again?
No, we're good. He's got this camera.
Yeah, I guess there's only one.
Go. All good.
All right.
And I've been a couple of times, and I just every time I go, it gets less and less interesting to me.
What was the first year you went?
3 years ago,
Okay.
So you went 3 years ago and what?
and then the next
Last
year.
year and 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I didn't want to go back. It wasn't fun. I wasn't meeting great, cool people.
Did you buy a badge?
I did have a badge.
Was it work sponsored or did you pay for it yourself?
I paid for it myself every time because I actually what I would do was I would buy a badge and then say to work that I'm going to South by.
Right.
And I already bought a badge, so what can you do about it?
Right.
So I'd buy a badge and I'd go and I'd hang out, and I just didn't make awesome. I didn't meet awesome people. I didn't experience awesome talks.
What did you do while you were there then?
I partied. Like,
Okay, so you had a really. It sounds like you had a fun time though.
yeah, but I could have done that here. I could have done that here for cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, like that's.
You don't have to pay for
Well,
the.
it's funny
the
because
flight.
I used to tell my clients to stop bothering to go there,
Mhm.
unless I worked for a PR firm, so like unless you made a big marketing splash, what's the point? You know, you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a big marketing splash if you're gonna do guerrilla marketing or whatever the fuck you're gonna do. And we would get them into panels, and I've gotten a panel at South by Southwest, and that makes you feel really good because as a PR person, ooh, I felt good because I got it in, and it takes voting, and then you got through the panel and whatever. But unless you did grilled cheeses on the street,
Yeah.
I mean, did anybody know you were even there?
Right.
Yeah, or unless like you're literally building an Apple store that weekend. Right?
And then it's just like running back and forth trying to find the coolest party is what it ends up being.
Find all the good
Yeah.
concerts.
I
find
Or
all-
like
all-
checking in, trying to get a badge, and like.
My
Yeah.
client asked me before he went the first time, and he's a PR manager for, a great startup, and they're in the clean tech space, and he said, hey, what do I do when I go to South by? Like, I've never gone to a conference. What kind of marketing should I do? Like, what should be my strategy? And I was just like, party. Like, you're going there to party.
Party on!
Yeah, party on.
But I think that might have been the best advice I
Party
ever
on
gave
South by.
him.
Yeah,
Know? It's
yeah.
just like,
Totally.
that's exactly what you do at South by.
Okay, I mean, maybe I didn't party hard enough, maybe.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, I will
no
say-
offense to you, Dan, but you could always party hard.
I could always party
I
hard.
will say this. I think the longest streak I've ever done of just absolutely destroying myself and getting ridiculous and doing the most ridiculous shit night after night that I've done was South by 2 years ago. I had such a fucking good time.
Yeah.
Were you there by yourself, or did you go with friends, or what was that like?
No, I paid. Okay, so one thing I hate about South by is it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
That would be my one sole complaint about it, because I love it as an event. I love it as a crowd. I love it. I love everything about it. It's so expensive. I paid $200 a night to sleep on a floor in a hotel room that I shared with 8 people.
Yeah.
And fortunately it was a 2-room hotel room, and there
Thank
were
God.
3 double beds. So, but still, I mean, 2 of us had to sleep on the floor.
Yeah. Every night.
So I ended up I was offered a spot to like cycle into a bed, because we said, oh, we'll take an intern sleeping in bed, and I was just like, fuck it, we'll take the floor every night. That's fine.
Alright.
Which was, it worked out, but it was, location was great. We were right downtown, which I really appreciated, because the previous time I'd been out of town.
$200 a night.
It was a
Are
lot
you
of money.
kidding?
That said, I did get to stay the first 3 nights for free. Thanks, John Chavez. And, and that was good. But also, I think the other thing about South by is you're an idiot if you buy a badge. Sorry, Dan.
I learned that, actually. I did learn that.
So the only things that you will want to go to that a badge is any benefit to, you can bribe your way into.
Yeah, I learned that as well.
And I don't.
Regret not buying a badge?
Well, I think there's no real downside to not buy. All the good parties that I went to didn't require a badge, and everything that did require a badge, I didn't really want to go to, or you had to line up regardless of having a badge anyway.
Yeah.
My policy for South by is I never line up,
Yeah.
because there's so much on all the time. Yeah, it might mean you miss out on some of the bigger stuff, and you might miss out on some of the crazy whatever. But you know what? I had, I think, a way better time just bouncing from party to party. My first, until music got really started, probably Wednesday, I didn't pay for a drink. So I went Saturday through Wednesday and got absolutely shit-faced every night and didn't pay for a single drink the whole time.
Well, I think you should
So-
probably do a blog South by Southwest if you're not doing it right, and then you
But is it
fix
worth it? I mean, you could essentially do that here. I mean, what did you get out of it that was like, oh, I can only get that from South by?
nothing.
What? Why? Why do you have to always get something out of it, right? I had a really great time partying for a week,
Yeah.
and that's. I could have.
If your job can keep funding you to go there, great, awesome.
Yeah.
Right. But there's
It's
no
like
real
one of those
advantage
conferences
as like
that
a
you're
startup.
oh,
There's no real advantage as a startup going.
No, there's
Effectively,
no
it's
advantage
a-
whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
something to go at personally.
It's a work
To have a good
excuse to
time.
party.
Exactly.
So
No,
you're saying it's not like a real conference. It's just a spectacle where you get to see stuff happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, and you get to, fucking take advantage of all the startups with way too much VC money who
Yeah.
don't know how to promote themselves, offering you free shit. And like
So
last 2 years ago, I think I got obliterated on Tito's vodka thanks to maybe it was Foursquare. I don't remember. Pepsi Max was sponsoring something with someone.
It was Foursquare. I remember playing
Well,
Foursquare. Pepsi Max was there. It was awesome.
Yeah, Big Boy played, and I got shit faced.
Dude, I actually bribed my way into Big Boy's VIP room.
yeah. I
It was
probably
great.
did too. I don't
Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where we met, man?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So this is
They had
also-
some Pepsi Clear there, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
this is
God.
an important point: is that none of the startups that are sponsoring Foursquare things are early stage.
Foursquare
Unless you're-
things?
Foursquare.
Yeah, Foursquare was really big by that point.
South by
I mean.
Southwest things.
Yeah.
I was thinking because Big Boy has a check-in, or he has a tip on Foursquare that says like, "Come to my private event." It's like 2008.
I
The
thought
year that you went.
Yeah, I
And
thought
it's
that was
at
a
the top
really
of
clever
the
use of
Austin
Foursquare.
Convention
Yeah,
Center.
really good use of
Yeah.
PR there. Yeah.
You know, it worked, but it's still like the top tip, and it's like 4 years
But that's the
later,
only
and it
time
doesn't
I've ever
make
used
sense.
Foursquare.
I do have to say,
Oh, I love
Foursquare is made for South by.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
It is so fucking good. You know, last time I was there, I had, let's say, 30 people I knew who were in Austin on Foursquare, and fuck texting 30 people every time. You know, you're bouncing between events every 10 minutes. Someone posts, "Hey, I'm here on Foursquare," and you comment and you say,
I'm
like,
going there.
is there free entry? You know, and it's just like you pull up your Foursquare and you see a list of where everyone is right now, and you can just. I never ran out of a thing to do because I always I didn't even have to like organize parties beforehand because I had organized friends and I could just pull out Foursquare and see where they were.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
But that's the other thing is like no one who's a pre-A-Round company is sponsoring anything at Foursquare at South by Southwest.
Who has money before that?
No, like
right?
it's not an early entry
Yeah,
thing. It's
that's
not,
like
and
There's
like
no
your
benefit
event.
as a startup to
Early
even
event
visit as just like, I want to show my app to people as I
No.
talk to
That's
people.
bullshit.
That's
You
bullshit.
can
No,
spend
you're never
money
gonna
in
do
other
that.
places.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's very
Okay.
much like a
So is it like a-
post-A-Round.
Like burn your VC money.
It's like burn
It's a
money.
waste.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
never
Burn your-
spend
burn
money
your
on
seed
that.
money.
In fact,
Yeah.
I've always counseled all of my startups. My startups that I worked with were past.
Yeah.
You know, if you hire a PR agency, you're post
Oh yeah.
A-Round.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so we always said, oh no, don't go to fucking South by West.
South by West.
South by West.
South by
fuck
West.
off.
yeah.
North by Northwest.
South by West, it's not even a real conference.